Hello, my name's Billy Stevens and welcome to the fucking news. The main news this week: Margaret Thatcher has died, making her the most hated recently deceased British idol to have abused minors, knocking Jimmy Savile down to second spot. A union spokesperson has said her untimely death is saddening, 30 years too late. Now this has been on every page of every newspaper for the last couple of days, and now I feel like they're milking it, which she wouldn't have approved of. Comments on Facebook and Twitter have said that she's going to burn in hell, which she isn't. She's not going to burn in hell, or Narnia, or Mordor, nowhere from a fictional book. So that's irrelevant. Gay rights activist Ivan Mazal has said that she was the perfect poster woman for gay rights. I'd say so. Yeah, just looking at that for a couple of seconds makes me want to turn at least bi. So, valid point there. Ronald Reagan, the fascist ex-president of the United States, has leapt to her defence, although that's a little bit like Paolo Di Canio getting defended for being racist by John Terry. What? That did happen. Alright. There was good news this week for John Terry, however, as Frankie from the Saturdays announced her engagement to Wayne Bridge. Now, I was asked by a couple of people after last week's The Fucking News why I didn't mention Ian Duncan Smith and the fact that he said he could live on £53 a week. That's because a Tory wanting to keep poor people poor isn't news. It's been happening for fucking ages. And there isn't any money left in the budget. There's no money to give to people on benefits, no matter how poor they are. On an unrelated story, David Cameron has pledged to spend £20 billion on nuclear weapons. This is due to the threat posed by North Korea. North Korea, you may have seen this week, have moved their missiles to the coast so that they might be able to reach Japan and the United States island of Guam if the tide's out. In a similar story, James Bond has been given a flying rocket-launching car because a disabled midget with asthma has threatened Jason Bourne with a yo-yo. Now, an interesting story you may have seen a couple of weeks ago in the university boat race, that there was a tirade of swearing by the Oxford cocks. Now let's start by looking at the irony of a bloke whose position in the boat is cocks getting told off for swearing. Now in the Metro this week they did a report which showed that 90% of men and 83% of women swear regularly. So basically everyone else has to not swear to try not to offend this 13.5% of people. I say, fuck 'em. Now, some cunts say that swearing is a sign of poor vocabulary. Well, I beg to differ with that profusely erroneous and unfounded hypothesis. And I think we can also appreciate the irony there of the fact that I stammered while saying that and had to check my notes. Now, there is a lot of controversy around swearing. I don't really see the point in putting stars instead of the letters in newspapers, though. That to me feels like, well, you're reading it in your head anyway, the same. In The Sun the other day, they had a story quoting someone saying tits, and they spelt it T***S. Who's reading The Sun going, oh, page 3, oh yeah, oh God, I don't want to see the word, oh. Which leads me quite neatly onto my next story, that there's a new campaign out to ban page 3. I don't think it really matters in an age where you have smartphones. That's like being concerned that you've run out of digestive biscuits when you live at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So there's a few things that have been in the news this week. Now I'm going to go into a couple of things that I've seen in the newspapers. Firstly, here's an interesting story, well, I say interesting, regarding Twitter, and this guy Louis Tomlinson from One Direction has been having an argument with Tom Parker from The Wanted, and they've been getting really aggressive. Parker said, "Louis got talent, hashtag, oh, burn!" And Tomlinson replied with, biggest twat on Twitter. So, well, Piers Morgan's on Twitter, so maybe not. But that just seems a bit like handbags there. And also proving that these two so-called hip guys from these boy bands are less cool than a 17-year-old girl who's the crime czar. Related to The Wanted, this guy Max George from The Wanted has boasted that he beds one woman every week. That's not really boasting, you're famous. That's rubbish. That's like me boasting that I can do 3 press-ups. If you're famous and you get less than 1 STI a week, you're doing shit. Now, my favourite story of the week so far is this guy. He ran up a £90,000 phone bill calling sex chat lines after his girlfriend left him. This guy, depressed Kevin Waldron, confided in girls on adult TV channel after his 2.5-year relationship ended. He got a bill through for £19,000 and then went on to build up a bill of a further 70 grand. When you get the 19 grand billing, stop wanking. That's pretty expensive. Must have been sore as fuck. My favourite bit about this story, though, is he says that he turned to the TV channel Call Girls in order to share his emotion and heartbreak with them. Yeah, right. He said he confided in one girl about his ex, and she empathised, telling him about problems in her relationship. Yeah, I wonder what sort of problems a girl that gets her tits out on telly can be having in a relationship. Probably about politics. Oh, I can't believe you agree with Ian Duncan Smith. Oh, it's over now. This is a breaking point. Anyway, that's all the news from this week. My name's Billy Stevens, and this has been The Fucking News.